Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Social Media College's Masterclass on Mastering YouTube SEO. In this webinar, we're going to understand some of YouTube's really unique search features. We're going to learn some effective YouTube SEO strategies that you can put into practice straight away. And also want to have a great chat about AI's influence on search beyond just YouTube search into the broader search market as well. So very excited to be delivering this masterclass to you. I can see everyone joining now, so hope you get a lot out of it. As always, feel free to put any comments or questions into the chat. I'll do my best to answer them as we go. Otherwise, I will always leave time at the end to answer any of the questions that you have. Before we start, Social Media College would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of their land and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging and extend that respect to other Indigenous people present. If you haven't attended a masterclass with Social Media College before, then good chance you've never heard of me. Who am I? I'm the co-founder of Social Media College. I am also one of the authors of the Diploma of Social Media Marketing and previously have been awarded Social Media Educator of the Year. In our paid community, I'm also a social media coach, facilitator, and course host. My experience in social media marketing goes all the way back to MySpace when I was a management consultant. I was working with Fox Interactive Media here and in the US before Facebook was even around. So I've seen it all. I've seen all the trends, all the ups and downs, and certainly the huge rise that social media has had to take place in the media landscape today. And very excited to be talking to you about YouTube because personally, it is one of my favorite social media platforms. I think that for marketers, the benefits you can get out of it are incredible. If you've never been to one of our masterclasses, potentially you don't know who we are or what we do. We provide education in digital and social media marketing. If you want to check us out, please jump onto Product Review, read some of the reviews that are there. I think in this space in particular, it's very important to know who you're listening to and make sure they are a credible, oh, good. Sorry, I just saw lots of comments popping up. You want to make sure that whoever it is that you are listening to is a credible person in this particular space. I want to start by sharing some stats here from the We Are Social and Meltwater report that was released earlier this year, and just give you a bit of a background into the YouTube and the power of YouTube. Really, YouTube has the second highest number of monthly active users. I think it's estimated at about 2.5 billion, and that's only second to Facebook. And if you look at their ad size here, which we have up on the slide, they have 2.26 billion people that are 18 plus, and that's just a fraction less than Facebook. So we often recommend YouTube as a secondary platform to be running your ads on, purely because of the fact that you're going to be able to reach your target audience. They are there. I think it equates to about 31% of the world's population. Notably, and there are some conflicting stats on this, it's hard because YouTube is owned by Google, but around kind of 85–90% of YouTube traffic originates from mobile devices. I've seen other statistics that say it's 70 to 75, so a little bit unclear, but either way, the majority of traffic comes from mobile. And so it's very, very important that we have mobile optimized content as a result. The other interesting thing that I think this year it was, YouTube actually passed over 100 million people watching YouTube on their TV in the US, which is quite a significant milestone. So whilst it may have started as a platform that people only access on the computers or their smartphones, we are now seeing a sharp increase, particularly in the US, in people watching it on TV, and fully expect that to increase over time. The other key thing I want to point out about YouTube is that they have the highest average session duration of all the social media platforms. It's around 7 minutes and 41 seconds per session. So it clearly maintains that mantle as the destination that people go to watch long form videos. And that matters because video is by far and away the most influential content format, and the more exposure that you have with someone, more exposure they have with your brand or your personal brand, the more trust you're going to generate. And when you combine a really influential content format of video with a really high watch time, you get influence over their decisions, over their purchasing behavior. And that's why it is such a fantastic platform to market your organization or yourself on. TikTok is second, but I think people watch a lot more shorter pieces of content versus they do on YouTube, but we have seen a huge rise in YouTube Shorts. YouTube makes around $33 billion in ad revenue. And for those that are eligible, YouTube actually pays about 55% of the ad revenue to the content creator. So it's not just a platform where you can get great exposure and huge organic reach, but you can also earn income if your videos receive a high number of views. So this kind of reflects a couple of things. I think firstly, YouTube is a bit of a hub for diverse content consumption. You know, there's educational content, there's entertainment content, inspirational content, you name it, it's on YouTube. But I think the sheer amount of ad revenue also reflects the fact that a lot of brands trust the platform and recognize it's just this unbelievable place for reach and engagement. A couple of other amazing stats about YouTube: 122 million daily active users, 500 hours of videos uploaded every single minute. There's over 1 billion hours of content watched daily. It's the second most visited website after Google. YouTube Shorts already generate 1 billion daily views. For those that don't know, YouTube Shorts is very similar to, say, TikToks or Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, short form video. And they have surpassed as well this year 100 million premium subscribers. So those are the people that pay a monthly fee. I think it's around $11, $12 to not show any ads on there. And they do compete in some ways with Spotify, or a lot of ways actually, I should say, that because people use YouTube for its music element as well as the content that they consume. But let's talk about YouTube search. YouTube SEO is what this masterclass is all about. And the first thing to understand about YouTube is its integration with Google search. For those of you who don't know, YouTube is owned by Google. And the videos tab, which you see here, is almost 100%. I don't think I've ever seen any video content, any long form video content in the videos tab of Google that is not a YouTube link. Okay. And you will sometimes see when you make a particular search, this one we had here was how to train your dog, you will sometimes see the video search results also appear in the main tab, the all tab that is just to the left of the videos tab. And what this does is it delivers that, immediate visual content to answer any search queries that people have. And ultimately for YouTube, what that means is that their YouTube videos can significantly increase their reach beyond the YouTube platform itself. Now, there's also a short videos tab, which is short form video, which isn't 100% YouTube. So you see here for the same search query that some of the results are for YouTube, but there's also Facebook Reels there. I think there's a TikTok search result as well. But again, if you scroll through, you will see that Google clearly prioritizes YouTube Shorts over some of these other platforms, at least now. And potentially we will see as YouTube Shorts content expands even further, that potentially that percentage of content there increases towards 100%. But it's not just about Google. One thing that is going on in the search market is the rise of social search. And this has been facilitated by the rise of short form video. This is undoubtedly one of the most dominant content formats now on social media. And if you don't know what short form video is, it's that full screen vertical video that was pioneered by TikTok, but now used by YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, even LinkedIn is rolling out a similar format as well. And these videos, they're not just used by younger generations. I saw a stat the other day, I think about half of baby boomers engage with this particular content format on a regular basis. So now that short form video is the dominant content format, what has happened is that social media platforms have begun to evolve to become search engines themselves. In some cases, actually the primary one. Google is often quoted as having around 95% of search engine traffic. However, if you look beyond just search engine traffic, they only have around 18% of total searches that are made across all the different platforms. The difference between a search engine, though, is that when people go to a search engine, they tend to have a certain intent. They're looking for a solution to a particular problem, whereas the searches across all of these other platforms sometimes are for, say, a social media account or for an app, in the case of Apple App Store, and so on and so forth, as well as discovery of brands and discovery of problems and solutions that they might have. So there is a huge amount of searches that are occurring beyond just your traditional search engine content. And if you look at social media, you'll see that it dominates the rest of search. These are the Western social media platforms that I've just highlighted there. This comes from MP Digital, which is Neil Patel's digital agency. You see just the sheer volume of searches that are now occurring on social media. And there's some really interesting stats here. According to Adobe, around 46% of Gen Zs and 35% of millennials, so Gen Zs are 14 to 28, I think, and your millennials are about 28 to 42 or 43. 46% of Gen Zs and 35% of millennials prefer social media over traditional search. And 24% use it as a primary search engine. So about 1 in 4 are using it as a primary search engine. But flip that back on its head, still around 76% use Google as the dominant search engine. But you can see that the tides, they are changing. Things are evolving and they always move relatively slowly and then all of a sudden very fast. But why? Why do participants want to use social media as a search engine? Well, it does offer a lot of benefits over and above some of the traditional things that you would use a search engine for. The first is that it's a lot more personalized. You're going to get tailored content based on your location, the interactions you've made on social media previously, on the preferences that you have, what sort of content you're interested in. And therefore, it's going to be easier for a user to comprehend and digest the content that they're searching for as opposed to a traditional search engine. Secondly, it's more relevant. The feeds are personalized in what you're interested in, but also in the content format that you like. Like if you compare that to when you go to a search engine, you have to sort of choose, do I want a video answer, a text answer, an image answer based on what you want? Whereas on social media, that is served up to you based on your previous interactions and preferences. It's more authentic. On social media, you have user-generated content where people make genuine and transparent experiences. There's also paid user-generated content as well that is perceived as being quite trustworthy as well, which you don't get this on traditional search engines. It's visually appealing, so they're more visually focused social media platforms. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc. They prioritize videos over text. And then finally, up-to-date content, whereas, traditional search engines do take a bit of time to provide those search results unless you go in and say, I only want the content that's appeared recently. Social media platforms presents users with real-time information. In fact, they prioritize more recent content. And for you as a marketer, that really presents a huge opportunity. As long as when you are creating content that you're sharing to social media, that you are thinking about search and thinking about how you can optimize for it, and you're creating content that helps solve people's problems that relate to your particular product or service. And undoubtedly, there is a huge disruption that is occurring in search as a result of AI, in particular tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, which is owned by Google, Copilot, Claude. All of these chat-based AI tools are changing the way that people search because they provide much, much faster answers with fewer clicks. And whilst it's early days, and if you're looking at the total number of chats that are occurring in ChatGPT, we're talking about 1 billion. So I didn't even get on that graph that Neil Patel Digital put together. So it's still early days, and so it's too early to say that traditional search is dead, which is seeing a lot of people screaming at the moment, which I just don't think is the case. I think it's going to take a while for this to evolve, and then all of a sudden it will be here quite quickly. The thing to understand is that in all likelihood, over the next kind of 5 to 10 years, we're going to see traditional search probably go the way of the yellow pages, in that you had a clear monopoly with the yellow pages and white pages, and you also had a clear monopoly with Google over traditional search engines. And I just don't think it's going to be possible for Google to maintain that monopoly. It's going to be spread across a number of different AI chat tools. You're going to have Meta AI, you're going to have ChatGPT, you're going to have other large language models. And also, I think that the way in which people use these will mean that the concept of searching for something, getting pages and pages of search results, and then you as a user having to shift through all of that content to work out which one of the answers that you find is the best solution to the original problem or search query that you had, it's going to seem like a very, very archaic and outdated way to do things, okay? When you can just simply go to an AI tool and it just gives you the immediate answer. We're seeing already that Google's AI overviews pretty much summarize answers directly there. And as a result, you don't need to go to a third-party website to do that. Around 60% of searches that do this or use these AI tools end without the user actually clicking through the website or the page. And 80% of users already rely on AI summaries for at least 40% of their search queries. So a lot of users are relying on these AI queries. And you've only had to use Google recently to know that you are visiting less websites as a result of doing this. So that is changing, I think, the expectations of the consumer. They want to do it in a conversational way where they can ask follow-up questions. They want it to be spot on and accurate. They just want one answer and they want it quickly. And the patience for pages and pages of search results or unclear, ambiguous kind of answers is lowering, and it will continue to lower quite quickly. So what we'll do, I'll park it for now, but we'll discuss what this means for you as a marketer later in today's presentation. But certainly a very, very interesting time, and one that I think is very important to keep track of and monitor. But at the same time, don't make any kind of knee-jerk reactions, because still the vast majority of traffic and search volume is still going through Google, but you can expect it to evolve relatively quickly from here. So coming back to YouTube SEO, how does it differ from traditional SEO, from what you would normally do when you went into to Google predominantly? Well, first of all, YouTube SEO is really about video. Of course, it's the world's long-form video social media platform, whereas traditional search does provide a variety of different content formats: text, images, videos, maps, news, and so on. Secondly, the way in which content is ranked, i.e. what is prioritized to be shown to people, varies. When you look at YouTube, it's about what's in the title, the description, what's actually in the video content, because the AI now can scan the video content and know exactly what it is about already without you having to put a title or a description or anything like that. It will scan it to know what's in it. Any tags that you can add to it, and also video engagement, things like watch times or comments or likes, dislikes, right? So the net number of likes that the video is getting. When you look at traditional search, you've got on-page SEO, off-page SEO, things like, which cover things like keywords, backlinks, domain authority, website structure, content relevancy, quality, engagement, both on the search engine and on pages that people visit having clicked from the search engine as well. There's a lot to traditional SEO, whereas I believe that YouTube SEO is actually a little bit little bit simpler than your traditional SEO, which can in sometimes be quite technical. Ranking speed. This is great. It's not how quickly the algorithm ranks it. It's just that the YouTube SEO is the ranking speed does come across a lot faster, usually in days, versus traditional search, where if you create a piece of content like a blog and you put it up, it can take months for that particular content to rank. User expectations. So when someone searches in YouTube or searches for a YouTube video through Google, they're looking for a video demonstration or they're looking for some type of entertainment and so on in a video format. Whereas with traditional search, they have the choice. They might say, well, what do I want here? Do I want a written answer? Do I want an image? Do I want a video? And so on. Personalization for YouTube SEO is based on viewing history, on your subscriptions, so which channels you have chosen to subscribe to and where you're located and a few other things. Whereas with traditional search, it's based on users' search history, their location, interests, and so on. So slightly different personalization that occurs on YouTube versus traditional search. And then finally, AI results. So YouTube currently doesn't have any AI results, but it is coming and it's probably not that far away. I believe there are some trials currently occurring in geographies around the world with this, whereas AI summaries, you clearly see that for some queries, not for all queries that are currently occurring in Google, but for those ones like, what is the blah, 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 it will do that, or how to do this, it will provide a pretty succinct AI summary for you. But for those really high intent things like buy some leather shoes, it won't show that AI summary. It will just provide a bunch of relevant ads and also organic search results for that high intent search query. Understanding the YouTube algorithm. The whole algorithm for YouTube is designed to personalize the content for each individual user. So what it's going to do is it will analyze individual viewing histories, search behaviors, but also, most importantly, the engagement patterns. So what videos you've watched, how much of those videos you've watched, whether you've commented on a video, whether you've liked it, what channels you subscribe to, and based on all of that data, recommend videos that align to your specific interests. So what that means is like two users searching for the exact same topic might receive different video suggestions based on their past interactions. So what are the main things that actually influence what videos get recommended? It's very, very important to understand this, because the more you understand the algorithm, the more you're able to ensure that your marketing activity does everything it can to get the algorithm to rank your content. So the first thing is what's called the metadata, and this is going to be things like the title of your video, descriptions, which is the description directly below, which is sort of like a caption, I guess you could call, if you want to make it consistent with the other social media platforms. It's quite long and you can have multiple URL links in that description as well. And then any tags that you add to it, optional tags that allow you to choose, topics related to whatever is in your video. Things like watch time, videos that get watched for longer tend to rank better for sure. What's called the click-through rate, which is the percentage of people who click your video after seeing the thumbnail, and a higher CTR is going to boost your chances of your video being shown to more people, because YouTube has this dynamic where a lot of people come to YouTube because they originated from search. Maybe they typed in, how to level a lawn, and then over on the right-hand side, you have all of these suggested videos that keep them on the platform. Now, if people are clicking on your video a lot, then that will actually improve your SEO as well. You've got engagement. So these are the interactions that people have with your YouTube video. Things like likes. Now on YouTube, you have thumbs up and you also have thumbs down. Now they do show the number of people that have liked the video, but they don't show everyone else the number of people that have given you a dislike. But you as the content creator do see the number of dislikes that are there. But if a lot of people are disliking your video, then it's likely the algorithm will actually deprioritize your content. If someone were to write a comment and also, further comments on those comments, how much those comments got engagement, but, likes and so forth. Also, whether or not someone subscribed to your channel, saved your content, or shared it with someone else. So the algorithm is looking very closely at the amount of engagement the video gets, in particular, watch time, which is a form of engagement as well. Video quality, higher resolution videos will generally perform better. Consistency, so how often you are uploading content, that's going to positively impact your channel's visibility and how much all of your content is shown to people. And finally, viewer satisfaction. So Google has said or YouTube, I should say, has said publicly that they want their viewers to leave satisfied. And if people are leaving satisfied, then they're more likely to promote that particular content. So you often see a lot of these pop-ups that are coming up saying, hey, do you like this content, or do you want to see more of this type of content? So they're constantly surveying users to see what sort of content performs well. And if there's a positive reaction to it, it will be one of the factors the algorithm takes into consideration when sharing your content. So first up, how do we rank really well with our YouTube content? I think first up, we want to make sure that our YouTube content in and of itself reaches the people that you want to reach. You need to understand who your audience is, of course, but you also need to understand what they are searching for. And the way that we deal with this is by doing what's called keyword research. So keyword research, sorry, I'll back up one sec. Keywords, even though it uses the word term keyword, it can be more than one word. And there are two types of keywords. The short tail keywords, I guess you'd call them. These are generally like broader terms, like one or two words, like fitness or cooking or something along those lines. They're going to have really, really high search volume, but they're also going to be very, very competitive. There's a lot of people going after those categories purely because of the sheer volume of searches that there are. Then you have what's called long tail keywords, and these tend to be more specific, like home yoga workouts for beginners. So even though it's multiple words, it's still called a keyword, or easy vegan recipes or something along those lines. These long tail keywords, they will have a lower search volume, but because they're more specific, they reach a very targeted audience, but also they tend to be less competitive. It's the same concept of targeting your business towards a particular niche market. When you target these long tail keywords, you can reach the right people that you want to reach in a less competitive way. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that we can actually go about this. The first is just to actually use YouTube's search bar. So if we were to come into here and you type in something like mow your lawn, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of suggestions that come up. So even though you're not potentially going after this keyword because it's too competitive, you can see some of the other suggestions that YouTube provides to you that are auto-generated around that particular keyword that you've just entered. The second place that you can do keyword research is some free tools. One is called Keyword Tool, which is great they all have an element of free. I think there is a paid version of Keyword Tool as well, but the free version is pretty good. Keyword Tool helps you with keywords across not just YouTube, but also Google and TikTok and other social media platforms and so forth. You can go in and you can choose which of the various platforms you want to analyze keywords from. And what it's going to do is it will help you to uncover keywords potentially that you can make your video content about and use as part of its metadata when you do share it on YouTube. The second is what's called Google's Keyword Planner. Now, Keyword Planner is free, even though I've got the Google Ads logo up there. It is a free tool, but in order to access Google's Keyword Planner, you do need to have a Google Ads account. So once you've set up your Google Ads account, then you can go in and use Google's Keyword Planner tool. obviously, because Google owns YouTube, this is going to be a fantastic free resource for you to be able to use to look at the types of keywords that you want to create some video content about. There's some other tools that a lot of YouTube creators talk about, which include vidIQ and also TubeBuddy, which is a very, very popular one with larger creators. These tools are going to give you, keyword search volume. They're going to tell you how competitive that keyword is. They'll give you related keywords. They're going to have tag suggestions, loads of features, loads of really, really cool features. Like a lot of SaaS, they have cheaper plans and then they kind of increase depending on the different features that you take on board. And they're not just about keywords. That both of these tools offer a lot of other very, very cool tools that you can use to help optimize the growth of your YouTube channel. Then there's some of the more traditional platforms like Ahrefs, SEMrush or SEMrush, depending on who you ask. Ubersuggest, which is Neil Patel's tool that he has. So these are great at providing keyword data, search volume, competition metrics, keyword suggestions. So all of the traditional ways that you would go about doing keyword research for Google can be done using these tools just as successfully for YouTube as well. So once you've identified what keyword it is that you potentially might want to target, you want to actually make the video content about that. And you want to say that keyword in the video content that you have, ideally a couple of times, and make sure that the video that you're making about that is related to the intent. So it's matched to the intent of what someone had when they searched for it. So if someone searched, mow the lawn, there's a pretty good chance that they want to learn about, mowing the lawn, but you've got to make sure that you don't, make it more general about gardening. Because if someone searches for something and then they come to your video content and the video isn't matched to what it is that they were originally searching for, then there's a good chance they're just going to bounce. They're going to go away from that video almost straight away. The second thing is that you want to include that keyword in the title. You want to make sure that it's very visible and clear that to the algorithm to search for that, and it's clear as day that the video is about that particular keyword. You want to use the keyword in the description, ideally in the first kind of 150 characters, but do it naturally. Don't overload the description with keywords. You want to make sure that you add relevant, tags to actually help YouTube categorize the content. And these tags they need to be super relevant to the video, not necessarily to what it is that you're promoting. So you want to make sure that you just look at the similar keywords, and some of the keyword tools can actually help you to do this, to provide keyword suggestions that are similar to your main chosen target keyword that you're using. And then finally, try and use the keyword in the captions and the transcript as well, again, just to enhance the discoverability of your content. So going a bit deeper on titles, descriptions, and tags. So when we talk about titles, a couple of things. Make sure you use the keyword at the start, ideally, which is going to improve the search visibility. Make sure you're really clear and specific what your video is about. So instead of using something like, amazing tips, you want to use, 5 tips to master public speaking. So it's really clear, really specific, exactly what the video is about. You want to keep it really concise as well. You want to aim for about 60 characters, which is about 10 words, but I'd even say that's probably too much. If you can, do it in sort of 5 to 6 words, I think that's going to be the sweet spot there. It doesn't mean you have to do it in that, but the more concise you are, I think the greater chance it is that it's going to get ranked, and also that people are going to click on the video and watch it. And then finally, you want to make sure that you avoid any clickbaity type titles. There's nothing worse than someone clicking on a video thinking that it's about one particular thing, only to find that it's actually about something else. So don't use clickbaity titles, because you will get punished for that. Remember, people can give a video a thumbs down, which will push down the ranking of that particular video by the YouTube algorithm. Next, the description. Use those keywords naturally in that first 150 characters-ish to help discoverability. The reason we want to do it in the first 150 characters is that's the point at which people have to click see more to read the rest of the description. So ideally, we want to use it in that first 100 to 150 characters. Make sure you have a clear summary. Your description should be like a really clear summary of what the video is about, and ideally add some more value. So if people want to go deeper on a particular topic, add some links to potentially other resources or even third-party resources that helped you put together that particular piece of content, because that adds value, and the algorithm sees that people are clicking on the links that you've added in the description. Add timestamps. You can use AI tools now to do this. YouTube has a version of it, which can be a little bit clunky, but what this basically is you just write the time. So, 03:42, so 3 minutes, 42 seconds, and you have the topic of what that relates to. And what this does is it breaks your video into sections. As soon as you include this in the description, then it becomes a clickable link to that point in the YouTube video. And by doing this, it's going to help YouTube understand structure and feature in the search results. And I'll talk a little bit more about why this is important when we talk about the influence of AI. Shirley's asked, can you recommend a tool for timestamping? Look, we use Descript. So when we edit our videos, Descript literally does it with one click. It just goes through the video and automatically does it. It actually does your entire description. If you paste in an example of the type of YouTube's description that you want, it will just write the description, add any links that are relevant, and then also do the whole timestamps for you. But you can also use something like ChatGPT. And YouTube does have a native tool like this. Sometimes it's a little bit clunky to do. Or you can just, you can also just do it manually. You just type in the timestamp and you break it up how you believe the video should be broken up according to what you're trying to match it with search, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question, Shirley. Where was I? Can you go back and already posted videos and add the timestamps? Natasha, I believe so. If you go in and edit the description on a particular video, then you can adjust those timestamps once it's done. Remember, you don't actually have to add the link. It will, as soon as you write in a time and then the title of that particular section, it will automatically link to whatever that is in the video. So you can go back and edit it, and then it will automatically link to whatever your revised timestamp is. Include CTAs. Remind viewers to like, to comment, to subscribe in the description. So we would also recommend that you do this during the video, but also in the description, say, hey, look, if you got a lot out of this video, please like it, so that a lot of YouTube creators will say, please like this video so that the algorithm promotes it to other people. You can explain to them why they're doing it. Hey, help me to get this in video in front of more people. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. Ask them a question so that they write a comment, because the algorithm will respond really well to that. Ask them to subscribe to your channel, or direct them to visit your website straight afterwards. So the more that we encourage interactions in our description, the more interactions we're likely to get, the better our content is going to rank as a result. And finally, tags. Tags are going to help YouTube understand the content, context of your video, and as a result, it, of course, therefore is going to be able to categorize your video better and make it more discoverable to its users. So we want to use a mix of kind of broad and specific keywords, but we want to make sure that the content is not like tagged about your business or your products or services. It's related to the content that you're sharing, not about you and your channel and so forth, but specifically to the content that is contained within the video. Think about synonyms and common misspellings. You can use something like ChatGPT to say, hey, this is the keyword I'm using for my YouTube video. Can you help me come up with 5 to 10 some ones, consider some misspellings or synonyms or something along those lines that could do. You can also just put it into Google search, and usually like YouTube, it will have some suggestions for you as well. limit to around 5 to 10. Make sure you keep it relevant. Don't confuse the algorithm by putting too many. And then finally, like the clickbaity titles, we don't want to have any misleading tags either, because this will negatively impact your video's performance. Thumbnails. What is a thumbnail? A thumbnail is that clickable image that you include when you upload a video to YouTube. And the way I think about thumbnails is like an email subject line. If no one opens your email, then it really doesn't matter what your email says. And similarly on YouTube, if no one clicks on your video, it really doesn't matter what's in the video because no one's going to see it. So the purpose of a good thumbnail is to draw viewers in. And the best ones are going to really make people stop. They're going to grab their attention, and then, make sure you want to make sure you have enough curiosity so that they take action and click on the video. Again, don't mislead or trick people because if they get into your video and they think the thumbnail somehow got them to click through and it's not what they were expecting, they'll give you a thumbs down, or they bounce from the video straight away, which is a negative signal. It's low watch time is a really, really bad signal for the algorithm. Why is this important with YouTube SEO? So this is really talking about the YouTube recommendation engine. Well, it's important for SEO because it will influence YouTube searches. If the video is getting really, really strong engagement, like good watch time and good interactions, saves, shares, comments, likes, and so forth, then the algorithm is going to recognize that and therefore rank it higher in search. So even though it's not directly related to people searching, it's more about the recommendation engine, ultimately getting more people to watch your video will help to send those really strong positive engagement signals to the YouTube algorithm and therefore rank your content higher in search. So a couple of tips with thumbnails. Canva's great for this. They have loads and loads of templates, or you can just design one from scratch. But if you just go into Canva and type YouTube thumbnail, up comes all these amazing templates that you can use. And with those, you can also, if you have a paid account, which we do recommend, it's probably the one paid subscription that we ensure that everyone has if you're a social media marketer, then you can upload your brand colors and simply click those brand colors a few times. And what will happen is the colors in the template automatically adjust to your brand colors. But that being said, we're very, of course, you want to build this brand online that people recognize. And one of the ways you do that is through your fonts and through your colors. However, when it comes to YouTube, we almost want to make sure that, I want to say it's the one place where you can go a little bit off brand when it comes to colors, because the higher that your colors that you're using on the thumbnail contrast to the other search results, the more it's going to stand out. What you can do is you can jump into YouTube, you can search for a particular topic, and you can look at all the thumbnails of the top results. And you look at it all and go, okay, they're all in kind of blues and greens. Well, if I made something in orange, then that's going to really capture people's eyes relative to the other thumbnails that are there. Okay, so look at the colors of people also targeting that keyword, and then think about, how do I make something that's going to contrast really, really well to those? Now, you can still use your fonts, you can still use some of your other brand colors, but you get what I'm trying to say. The other thing that is, prolific on YouTube, you see a lot of these humans with expressive faces, people kind of having these, shock looks on their face. And whilst some people roll their eyes at this and go, I don't want to do that, but the reality of it is that it does work. What these expressive faces, when putting a human in those YouTube thumbnails and also having a look on the face, then it creates curiosity in the mind of the user. They wonder why that expression is on their face and therefore are intrigued to click through. I know it's not for everyone, but the data shows that when you do use this, it does work. It does drive a higher click-through rate as a result. Try and keep the text on the actual image really minimal. I'm talking like 3, 4, 5 words. You don't want to go any more, even like 12 characters is probably the recommended length of that 3, 4, 5 words. When you have a really long title, in addition to the title of the YouTube, your actual title to the video can be longer, but the text that you have on the thumbnail should be not too long. TubeBuddy, one of the tools that I mentioned, has a pretty cool paid feature where you can A/B test different thumbnails for a period of time and then compare the click-through rate, which is the key metric you want to be looking at to determine the success of a YouTube thumbnail. So anyone that uses that tool, have a look for that feature. I think it's really, really great because, again, ultimately you've got one thumbnail that's got a 2% click-through rate and one's got a 4%. That's double the number of views that the video is going to receive, assuming that people do get through to the minimum length. TubeBuddy, so TubeBuddy was one of the tool that I was mentioned to A/B test those thumbnails. Finally, look at your analytics. Like, look at the thumbnails that are working and do more of that. If there's a constant theme of successful thumbnails, use that more. If there's a theme clearly that delivers lower click-through rates, do that less. It's very important to jump into your analytics. Higher engagement improves content ranking. So what can we do when we again, just to refresh your memory, what do we mean by engagement? We mean those interactions that people have with your content. That's going to include watch time and average session duration, which is why I've got that graph at the top. Things like likes, dislikes, shares, subscribes to your channel, saves, comments that people make, whether people liked or disliked that comment or loved that comment. So let's run through some tips on how you can maximize your engagement. The first, which sometimes, is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, because I think that many marketers overvalue a lot of these tactical stuff, like, the length of your title and your thumbnail and so forth, and forget that the content that really, really adds value is usually the content that performs well. Like, if you ask me, should I invest more time in all of these kind of tactics around optimization and SEO on my YouTube videos versus creating a video which is truly, truly valuable for someone, I would say choose the latter and go for a video that really does add value. The way you do this is to look at other videos that target that same keyword, and you just go deeper on the topic, and you be more helpful and more practical and action orientated than the other videos are as well. Usually when people come to YouTube, what they're looking for is that practical advice, tips, tricks to implement and solve whatever problem that they have, that they originally searched for. So the more that you can genuinely add value with your video, go really, really deep on a particular topic, then even if you have a crummy thumbnail, even if you have, an average headline and you haven't put many good tags on it, if that video starts to get really, really strong engagement, then in all likelihood, it's going to get promoted. Now, if we layer that with some of these other things that we've already discussed today, then I think you will have, you will find that your content performs really, really well. And we've seen a big change in the way in which algorithms rank content over the last couple of years. Whereas up until TikTok, it was very much based on how big your following was, or in YouTube's case, how big your subscriber base was for your channel. What has happened as a result of TikTok, who really pioneered that merit-based algorithm that focused on the quality of each individual bit of content, is it doesn't really matter how many subscribers you have on your YouTube channel. It doesn't really matter how many Instagram followers you have. If that individual bit of content is super high value and the audience love it and they engage with it, then it can go viral. And the same applies now very much so with YouTube. So you don't need, 1 million subscribers to your YouTube channel. You can have 100 and still get a piece of content that just absolutely takes off. It has, to a certain extent, more so than the swing that we've seen on Instagram and Facebook. YouTube has had that element to it before, but even more so now. So really kind of focus on, what are your problems that your audience has, and how do you make content that helps them solve those particular problems in and around what it is that you offer. Have a strong hook, very, very important. So a view on YouTube is 30 seconds. It's very different to a view on some of the other social media platforms, which tend to be around 3 seconds. So you want to make sure that whatever you do at the beginning of the video, you keep people engaged. So one of the best ways that you can do with that is to state very, very clearly exactly what it is that you're going to provide to someone in the video. The other thing that you can do is the fourth point I've got there, which is an incentive to watch until the end. And if you stick around, I'm going to give you X. And so what this does is make sure that people know exactly what they're going to get and therefore more enticed to watch the video, but also that cherry to get them, which not cherry, was it? The carrot, to get them all the way to the end of the video, which is going to feed the algorithm with some really, really good watch time and average session duration. Watch time percentage and average session duration for that particular video. Very, very common in YouTube videos. In addition to asking for engagement in the description, you can also ask them to do it in the video. So for those that are watching this, please like this video. Tell me in the comments to answer this particular question. And the more that you do that, the more you say this in the video, then the more likely it is that people will do that. So you can ask them in multiple locations. If someone does leave a comment, make sure you respond to that really, really quickly, because you can get whole conversations going. Other people contribute to the conversation around something, and it will just, feed the algorithm with lots of engagement as a result. You can also, towards the end, I generally recommend towards the end, once you have added a lot of value, once people have seen that there is really, really valuable content, you simply ask them to subscribe to your channel. You say, hey, look, if you found this valuable, if you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe to the channel. And also remind them if they got a lot of value out of it and they've got someone else that they think might find it valuable, to share the content as well. So there's nothing wrong with asking them to like it, asking them to leave a comment, asking them to subscribe to the channel, and also asking them to share it as well. And the more you do this, the more comfortable it will feel. Now, I'm really talking about talking head type videos as well, but if you do have a voice overlay, then you can do that there, or you can use the end cards as well to get people to subscribe to your channel. And finally, review those engagement metrics. So look at the videos that get really, really good engagement, or get really good watch time, or average session duration, and go, what did we do right in this video? And those that didn't do well, I like the videos that bomb, that don't go anywhere. It's like, what did we do wrong here? And again, you just do more of what works, lean into those, strategies or content topics that are performing really, really well, but also learn the lessons from those that don't. YouTube, I think, has some of the best organic metrics going around for all the social media platforms. And I might use that as a segue into this. So I just want to quickly kind of bring this to life for you. This is a video we uploaded. It's a 50-minute video. It was actually a recording of one of these masterclasses. We edited it down. And what we did was upload it to YouTube. You can see that it's had about 10,000 views, which is great. Sorry, I'll just jump back here. Had about 10,000 views, which is good. And you can see the extent to which it's driven new subscribers. So this one's had really, really good engagement. But if we dive into the engagement metrics here, and this is in YouTube Studio, what it does, you can scroll down and you can see in reach metrics, you can see how people found this particular video. So you see that 26% is from suggested videos, but then YouTube search, so that's people that are searching for this particular topic in YouTube, contributed around 24%, and then external was around 22%. So you're looking at around 45-ish% in total, 46% from search features. And then if you scroll down, you'll see that of that, Google is the main contributor of that 21% of external. Google is the main contributor towards that. So that's really what we're aiming for. On the right here, it also shows you your click-through rate on the video. This particular thumbnail had quite a good click-through rate, 4.4%, and that's delivered a lot of views as a result. So this is what I mean by go into your analytics, look at each individual piece of content and go, okay, great, what worked here? Now we've just uploaded another video and we've used a very, very similar similar thumbnail as a result because it worked really, really well. Last time we used the words, full masterclass for the recording for it, and that seemed to resonate with the audience. So we're going to try and use a similar tactic on future videos as a result. All right, to finish up today, I just want to talk about how I believe AI is going to impact YouTube search. Firstly, I think that search expectations are changing. So we talked about how users that are using search are changing the way in which they go about it. But at the moment, it is relatively slow. But with a lot of these things, they tend to be slow initially, and then all of a sudden you get mainstream adoption. So that expectation of faster, more direct answers, even from video, I think is changing slowly at the moment, but it will accelerate quite quickly. So that means titles, thumbnails, descriptions, they need to be really, really clear for AI. And you need to make sure that it's very benefit driven, very outcome driven. Like, this is what you will get from this particular bit of this particular video. Also, you're seeing YouTube's, these key moments. And that's why putting those timestamps in your description is very, very important, because what it will allow is for people to jump straight to that particular part of the video to get their answer. They don't want to. People using search now are increasingly not wanting to have to shift through a huge video to get the exact part of what they want. What they want is just the exact thing that answers their question, which increases the need for those timestamps. The second, AI powering improvement in the YouTube algorithm. What this means is that AI, the YouTube algorithm is using AI to better understand the actual meaning behind search queries, not just keywords. And this is called semantic search. Semantic is like, what is the real intent of someone when they search for something? Because humans are imperfect searchers. And so the more that AI can actually get to the nitty gritty of what it is that people really wanted when they search for something, the better. And it does this just by analyzing billions of search queries and learning where people ultimately got to get the answer that they wanted. And so contents that answer, we need to make sure that content that answers related questions also will rank better, I believe, in the era of search, but also means that, we want to make sure we use clear structure, we have high engagement, relevant metadata. So a lot of the things we were doing anyway for YouTube SEO, I think still are very, very important for AI. It's just that AI wants much more succinct and much more structured way to analyze our content. The third thing there, AI generated video summaries and highlights. I've kind of already talked about this. We've got this now with Google search, and it's coming with YouTube. What they're going to do is potentially create some sort of summary of your videos or create their own summary of the video, and that's going to appear in the search results. This could obviously impact watch time if those summaries give people the users the answer to what they want sooner. So just be aware of that. But I still think your YouTube content, because it's a long form video, it really needs to give people more than just surface level information. And then finally, AI generated video summaries. Oh, that's the third thing. Sorry, that should say optimization must consider Google AI too. So since YouTube videos appear in Google search, it's really, really important to optimize for Google's AI generated answers as well. Again, this just comes back to how you're structuring your videos to clearly answer any questions that you have. How to fix a leaking tap is more likely to appear in AI overviews in those video carousels, because it's very clear that it's aligned to the search query. And remember, those AI generated responses in search at the moment are only answering those type of questions. The higher intent ones are still being shown no AI summary and just straight to things like shopping ads or other organic one there. So takeaway for marketers for how AI is going to impact search. I think we've just got to make the content even more scannable and AI friendly. So structure, clear voiceover, strong metadata, those titles, descriptions, tags, and so forth. And make sure that we have those timestamps as well. And if we want to rank better for AI, which is still only a very small proportion of what people are searching, then it is very important to make sure that you think about the specific questions that people are answering and try and answer those directly. Okay, just a couple more minutes. We're slightly over time. I'll get you out of here in a few minutes. We do have a workshop coming up on YouTube marketing where you can learn all about this stuff and a whole bunch more. It's a one-day workshop from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. AEST on Wednesday, the 25th of May, hosted by myself. You can purchase a ticket to this, Aussie dollars 767, or if you have an SMC Pro subscription, it is included in that subscription, along with 3 weekly coaching calls and also access to our entire library of on-demand courses. We also have a free membership as well. I'm sure many of you are already part of that. You get access to our online community, our monthly masterclass, plus any of these recordings going back for the last 2 years. Alternatively, if you do want to work with us, you can purchase that single seat to the workshop, or we now offer one-on-one coaching if you just want some help from me on implementation of your social media marketing, either as an advisor or someone who gets in there and actually helps you to implement something. You can purchase those one-on-one coaching blocks with us. A couple of links being dropped into the chat now. Also, just remind you of some upcoming live events. We've got that YouTube marketing workshop coming up. We also have a free masterclass on 6th of August, email sequences using AI. Look out for the email notification about that one, how you can write a really great email sequence now using AI very quickly. Can't wait to walk you through that one. That's followed by that one-day email marketing workshop on 27th of August. On 3rd of September, we have X versus Threads, the showdown. We're going to be looking at the 2 platforms and seeing which one is likely to emerge the victor, or whether there's room for both of them. For those of you who don't know, Threads is owned by Meta. It's an up-and-coming competitor to X, formerly Twitter. So we'll be going through and comparing the 2 of them, and then we will be delivering a one-day workshop on the 24th of September on X marketing. After you leave this webinar, there'll be a feedback survey. Please tell us what you think. Any other topics you'd like us to cover. Thank you so much for coming to today's masterclass. Hopefully you learned a lot about YouTube SEO. I will stick around and answer any questions that you have. So please dump them in the chat. Thank you everyone for your kind words. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Johnny. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Varun. Thanks, Paul. Haley, Joyce. Well, they're coming through. Thank you, everyone. Wow, too many thank yous. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Karthik, Leanne, Ned. Why? Any questions? Neil says, good night, Australia. Good morning, depending on where you are, if you're ever in the US. All right. We don't have any questions. I did see something come through. So Rose says, should there be an email that includes a link to the recording to this and feedback form? So Haley, you should receive an email with the recording of this particular masterclass if you registered for it, whether you attend or not. If you register for these masterclasses, we do email out the recording. You can also jump into our free community and access all of the recordings for the past 2 years in there. We're pretty quick to upload them into there. Is there an AI for email course sooner? So we don't have, so if you're asking if there's a course that you can do sooner on email for AI, the answer to that is no. We did do email marketing not that long ago, I think about 12 months ago. So the course is relatively up to date. But we, of course, every time we do any of our social media marketing courses, we add in a lot of AI, new AI features and implications and impacts and so forth. So if you'd like to do the email course, it's still very up to date, and I think you'll learn a lot from it. We do have a creating content with AI course where we did talk about, a lot of creating written content using AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, etc. So if you're interested in that one, let us know. I believe a link was dropped to book a call with me as well. So if you want to scroll up, you can book a call with me. We can have a chat about that. Do advertisers pay for incomplete views? So in regards to advertising, it's very fair. YouTube advertising, you only pay when someone watches, depending on the ad format that you choose, when someone watches 30 seconds, I believe, don't quote me on that, pretty sure, 30 seconds of your ad, or if they click on a CTA. So if they do one of those two things, whichever comes first, then you pay, but otherwise, no, you don't pay, so it's very fair. Does the length of the video, i.e. 1 hour, 30 minutes video podcast, affect the performance of the video on YouTube? The answer to that is yes. There's no like direct correlation, but if you just think about it, the more that someone goes into depth on a particular topic, then the more that YouTube's algorithm is going to promote that particular piece of content. It just makes sense because YouTube is a business. They're trying to sell ads. And if you put up a piece of content that is long and it keeps people engaged and people are watching that video, I showed you that one that we uploaded that was 50 minutes long. We're keeping, a very high percentage of people, about 40% of people, all the way to about 3/4 of that video. That's just more ad spots for YouTube to deliver ads. So they're going to reward content that does that. Thanks, Ned. Thanks, Caroline. What's the minimum requirement to start generating revenue on YouTube? I believe it's 1,000 subscribers, and then there are also a requirement in terms of watch time. I don't like total watch time on your channel. I don't know off the top of my head exactly what that is. And I think now there's also a requirement for consistency. So you have to have shared something in the last 30 days or 90 days, one of the two. I don't know those things directly off the top of my head, but I will make sure that they go into the workshop if you are attending. Great. All right. I saw Carolyn raised her hand. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Sector. All right. Unless there's no more questions, I do apologize for going a tad over on this one. Hopefully you got a lot out of today, and looking forward to seeing you at Social Media College's next masterclass. Until then, have a good day.